Morning, everybody. Welcome to Wild Earth this morning and Juma Game Reserve. Hopefully this is coming through now, and hopefully we will be able to go live with Tara and Seb. I'm hoping that everything's... you can hear me good. Well, wow, you've got me on screen, or rather on your speakers, and while it's working, I think... just lost picture. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to try and get picture up and get to you, or rather get you to the drive as soon as possible. Enjoy.
Oh, good morning everybody, and welcome to Juma Game Reserve this morning, and look what we have for you. Karula's cubs. Still in the same spot. And Karula's just left. She's actually just run down the tree and left, and we've got about 3 hyena at the base of the tree here. And they just sat and watched her, and she then got chased off by one of them. That's certainly a wonderful way to start a Sunday morning, hey? Or Shavinzi and Shavambalana. It sounds like we have had a few technical difficulties around Hoedspruit area, hence why we've been a little bit late, but we thought we'd stay here and just see if we would be going live and just see how the drama unfolded. And when we arrived there was a little bit of meat left. There was a couple of legs from the impala and the cubs were busy feeding on it, and then piece by piece it started dropping. Hyenas took their share, and once it was all done, Karula's left. Literally about 2 minutes ago she left, and it looked like the little boy, little Shavambalana, was going to follow her, and then decided against it. I'm just going to see if we can maybe pull back a little bit more so we don't have the branches in our way. My name's Tara, Seb's on camera, and Mark's back in file control. You really can't decide what to do. Shavinzi not really taking much of an interest. That's the little girl sleeping on the top branch. Her brother in the fork of the marula tree that they're sitting on. And you can see exactly why leopards would want to choose this type of tree. You can see lots of large branches and horizontal branches that are quite comfortable for them to sit on and lounge around in. And wait for the hyenas to get bored. Excuse me. Now, I'd wager that Karula's already moved to maybe go and hunt again, because she doesn't know when she's hungry. And Karula started eating it as soon as she put it in a tree, so I do wonder if she was also needing that energy, because what we have seen in the past is that she's gone to collect the cubs. And maybe that just depends on how hungry she is. Because remember, if she can't catch anything for the cubs, anything substantial, then if she lets the cubs eat and just doesn't eat herself, then that means that she's obviously going to go downhill very rapidly, and that means that the cubs have no mother. Now, at this age, they probably could survive, depending on what skills they've acquired so far and depending on their own personalities. But it is possible for leopard cubs to survive at this stage, but that maternal instinct is to carry on providing for them until they reach the stage where they feel comfortable to go off and not respond to her calls, to say that there is food on the table. So that maternal instinct is very strong, and she'll carry on providing for them. So she needs to keep her energy up. And I think we actually had a question not so long ago asking if Karula would actually eat before they do, whether she would sacrifice her meal. And I remember saying at the time that I would have thought that she if she was hungry enough, she would eat, otherwise she would let them eat first. And I think yesterday just proved that. But otherwise, if she's all right, then she'll allow them to eat first. I wonder if he's going to climb up there. Keeps eyeing it up. Now, after a big meal, usually leopards will go and sleep, and actually Karula might have just gone to have a drink. She might come back, she might not. She might go and just snooze and rest a little bit before she goes to try and hunt again. He is restless though. If anybody's new to the channel, this is a live broadcast from here in Juma Game Reserve. And if you would like to send through any questions this morning about the cubs or about anything else that we might see on drive, then send it through to questions@juma.com. I wonder if he's watching Karula. The last thing that we saw was her heading off towards Weaver's Nest Road. And we thought the cubs, especially little Shivambalana here, was wanting to follow her. Beautiful light, catching those golden eyes there. If only the branch wasn't in the way. That'd have been a beautiful shot. And actually, when you are taking pictures of wildlife, getting the sun in the eyes is definitely a bonus for your wildlife shot. If ever you're trying to take pictures of animals, being between the sun and the animal, shining up or bringing out the colour in the fur, and having the sun in the eyes definitely gives it something. You might notice that we try and do that where we can. We try and park on this side. Yeah, I think that's the better idea. Oh, okay.
What are you doing, girl? No way.
If he wanted a quiet getaway, he's not going to get it. Oh, hyenas have lifted their head. I'm gonna have to make the decision. One hyena's up. Oh, Kruder is here. There she is. So she's just behind us. Shivenzi being left behind now. So she was waiting for them. Hyena's not really giving chase. Oh, I can hear the baboons as well. Ah. Oof. Wait for me, Mum. Floppy is like, huh? What? What just happened? Brilliant. It's going to be a bit of a square peg round hole again, unfortunately. See if we can actually catch up with them though. there go the baboons. Baboons have gone that way. Okay, they're just in there. I'm going to try and get on this side of them if we can. I think the hyenas just know there's no point in chasing because the meat is gone. I was hoping they were going to come this way, but I think they're going to... Yeah, where did Karula go? I just saw the two cubs. But they're actually going to follow Karula. Did you see where they went? Did they go that way or this way?
This way. But I can't see them right now.
Oh yeah, there they go.
Very skittish.
Yeah, I think we're just going to give them a little bit of space here.
Hey!
Hello! Where did Karula go? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I just saw these two run, but I didn't see where she went. Oh, okay. So she's still there, cubs are there. I think we're going to stay back here, unless Karula's going to follow them. She might just follow them. Yeah, they went down that way. Yeah, no, we're going to stay back here. Thanks, man. Yeah. Let's just see. It looks like Karula might be making her way this side. I think they've just got a fright, I think, with the vehicle reversing. So I don't want to chase them. Oh, so he might have been following Karula. Well, let's go back and see if we can see her. They went over the road.
Anything further?
They went over the road. I'm going to go back in. Good morning to you. And welcome on board this beautiful sunny morning here at Jimmy Game Reserve. see if Karula did stay put. So I think when you guys joined us, we just had the cubs, we didn't see Karula. Dawn wanting to know what makes the cubs decide to follow the mother or stay put. And I think she actually gives them a signal to actually follow, whether it's a twitch of the tail or actually calling. It's almost like a cough when she calls them. It's not the best impression in the world. Never mind. Yeah, because it was this log that they ran to. She might have made her way there already. But I think because she'd gone and the cubs watched her go, and then it was almost as if they, as I say, they're a little bit worried about leaving because of the hyenas. But she must have just been sitting, and I wonder what they were looking at. And she must have just been sitting just in here somewhere. And that's what they were watching. But she must have just been out of sight from the hyenas. And she might have just called them quietly, or even just eye contact, twitching of the tail. Because to begin with, they decided, no, they'll stay put, and even Shavinzi was actually going to sleep. It was actually Shavambalana, the little male, that took the initiative, and you could see he wasn't sure about it, and he was, you know, sort of going around the tree, and and then went for it. Because there have been a couple of times the cubs have been, oh, do we stay, do we go? So I think sometimes they're not sure either. Sydney, come in. Do you have visual on them on pimpans?
Negative, he's also going to see time.
Yeah, okay, copy.
Thanks for that, was awesome.
Yeah, it was, thanks a lot. All stations lost visual of Karula, Mampimpan's Karula. Stayed somewhere around the old Mbisikaya on Philemon's Cut Line, Mampimpan's Junction, Zoe's and Philemon's Cut Line.
Can I confirm she all from the Bamba?
Yeah, the Bamba's all gone now. Mampimpan's dropped the last part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they've all left the slash there that they were sitting in.
Okay, coming. Yeah, right, morning. And also the could be about that KP Mafati with Bambas and Nyari on top line road. Yes, cheetah place now.
It's a little bit nippy actually. Welcome everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. I think we will. I was hoping they might just be sitting on the. Oh, sorry. Trying to change gear with the microphone again. Note to self, don't do that. I was hoping they might just be sitting on here after everything died down. I think they might have just run in here for cover. But not to worry. Let's go and have a look at what else we can go and find this morning. I'm going to say this afternoon. Getting ahead of myself here. Hi Bob. A few Morning to you too. Wondering how Karula got past the hyenas. She literally just climbed down like the two cubs did. She just climbed down that part of the tree, and the hyena just lifted up its head as if to say, "What are you doing?" "Oh, that's what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to go back to sleep then." And that's it. Then she went. And she ran off. As soon as she hit the ground, she ran and realised the hyenas weren't following her. But then once there was one hyena that came in, once that hyena came in, that's when she ran off, and I thought she'd actually gone off much, much further than what she did. But obviously she wanted the cubs to follow her. We did go and check the old hyena den, just while we were having those few problems. So I just wanted to check, see if Floppy Ear was using it. And it looks like there's a possibility that it's being used, but we'll have to keep going back and checking. Oh, and I forgot to bring my casting kit. That's not good. Well, it was worth their wait though. They did have a couple of tidbits. Is that Floppy Ear? I think that is Floppy Ear, isn't it? Yeah. Where are you going to, lady? Okay, so she's not using that den then. Maybe we should try and follow her. See if she's actually got a den somewhere else. Difficult to go over there. Hi Valerie, and definitely quite a difficult one to answer. And apparently there's some people saying in chat that they want to see a kill, and some people saying that people are morbid when they want to see a kill, and that they that it's, you know, thinking that you get an enjoyment out of seeing an animal die. And it's definitely one of those that we as humans I don't think will ever agree on. And as a wildlife production company, which is what we are essentially, we do show every aspect of wildlife. Now, whether that's a hunt, or whether it's a leopard playing with a monkey, which we had a few months ago, very controversial. And it was one of those things that it was actually in Duna playing with a baby monkey. Very difficult to watch, I can tell you, but at the same time it was incredible because it was a behaviour you don't see very often in leopard. and he was actually playing cat and mouse with this baby monkey, and the fact that it was a baby monkey really, I think, brought something home to us. And the fact that it's a primate and it's a baby made it very, very difficult to watch indeed. And I think if it had been maybe an impala, I think more people would have been more accepting, because it's viewed as the normal food, I suppose. But the fact that it was a baby monkey made it very, very difficult. But at the same time, we could not show it, because it actually happens out here in the natural world. And if we shied away from everything that goes on that's gruesome, then we really wouldn't get an all-round feel of actually how nature works. And nature is a very, very harsh place. Nature is not a walk in the park. You know, it's life and death every day. And that's what, it's all part and parcel of it. And to actually see, obviously, not wanting to see an animal die, but to see the expertise of a cat or a dog that's actually hunting. I mean, there is something incredible about seeing that. You know, the fact that these animals do have to go through that, and it is part of their life. So to not show that part of their life, it's not showing nature as a whole. But definitely a difficult one. And the thing is, if it's not something that you want to watch, then you don't need to watch it. You can switch off. But as I say, it's as a nature program. I mean, you watch on documentaries all the time, kills happening, and sometimes because of that, people think that it's very quick, and sometimes it's not that quick at all. There was, I think, the kill where Mark had a buffalo and a calf. I think it was just as I came back, and they were killing just outside Voyatella, actually outside the lodge, and I forget who it was. I think it might have been the Nkahuma Pride taking down a female buffalo with her calf, and they were in the process. I think they were actually killed the mother, and they hadn't killed the calf properly, and there was actually one shot that we caught for record, and we didn't stay too long, but there was actually a female eating the calf, and she hadn't killed it properly. And yes, it's extremely sad, and believe me, your heart goes out and you want to help this animal, but at the same time, it is the natural world, and it does happen, and they don't, you know, it's not often that they'll do that, but I've seen it with warthog. I've seen a lion actually eating a warthog, and he hadn't killed it properly. But it's all part of nature, and it's not, you know, you're a sadistic person for wanting to watch it, or I think it's just human curiosity more than anything, seeing how these powerful animals actually bring down the prey. I mean, it's something that you don't see very often. I think we've seen it maybe twice or three times, actually seeing the whole hunt from start to finish, or actually seeing that particular part of it. You don't see it very often, and I think that's part of human curiosity, because you don't see it. But as I say, everyone will always have an opinion, and I think it's one of those that humans will never agree on. But for us to not show it, it would be wrong for us not to show it. But if you don't want to watch it, then you always have the power to switch off. And for me, with the leopard with the baby monkey, some people were saying we stayed too long, but I actually felt human nature again, because this baby monkey was fighting for survival, and you could see he was getting away and trying to run away. And for me, I felt we needed to have that closure to see if the baby monkey had got away or whether he was going to eat it. And in the end, he obviously gave it the bite to kill it, and he took it off, and obviously that was the end. But again, extremely interesting behaviour, and one of those sightings that will stay with me forever. I mean, it was such a roller coaster of emotions, and I'll use that every time I'll speak about it, because we were up and down like a yo-yo. But yeah, as I say, if we don't show you these things, how do you know it's not happening out there in the wild? I mean, that's what we're here to see: wildlife, to see them in the natural environment and doing what they do naturally. So, but yes, Vivian, very, very difficult one, very difficult one. But I think it's more in praise of the skill of the animal rather than obviously the animal dying. Unfortunately, that ditch is too deep for us to really go through. We'll drive up Twin Dams Road and just see if Floppy Ear pops out there. But it's not forgetting that an animal does die, but unfortunately that is the way of the natural world. I mean, you have your herbivores, and they eat plants, and actually if you really want to go into it, they are harming the plant. I mean, they're actually taking a limb or a leaf or the way the plant can make food. So actually, technically they are also harming the plant to a certain degree. Elephants might even kill trees. I mean, if they uproot them and all the roots come out, elephants are essentially killing the trees. But I think the fact that it's an animal, it's living, and a life is taken, that's what really strikes us to the core, I think. And I think that's why we're more accepting of an elephant uprooting a tree than we are maybe an animal dying, and even more so a baby animal, and even more so a primate, because we view primates as almost our kin, I suppose, because they are primates. They remind us a lot of ourselves. And someone actually said, you know, if there was a lion or if the leopard had been playing with a human baby, would we still be watching it? But that's a different scenario altogether. I mean, a human baby out here, I mean, that wouldn't be natural for a leopard really to be getting a human baby. So it's a completely different scenario. And the fact that it is still, you know, the animals are living together and cohabiting and you know, living off each other. I mean, that is the natural world. We're not too far away from Chelapan Road, so let's try Chelapan Road and Twin Dams Road. And of course, it is day 3 of the track and dung quiz. Who dung it? So I'm going to be looking out for any tracks, dung, signs of the bush for you to interpret. See if we can get a couple of good ones today. These are pretty fresh actually. Not the largest, but hopefully it might give you an idea. Are you going to be able to get this track here, Seb?
Want these ones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we jump.
Yeah, it might be easier.
Okay, I'm going some down.
Okay, how about now? Are you getting sound now? Cool, both of them then.
Okay.
One to remember. Okay, so, what was I saying? Oh yes, for those of you who have never joined us before, what we're doing is some track and signs, and over the next 2 weeks, or I think it's about a week and a half now, isn't it? If you can try and join us for as many drives with me as possible, then when we do a track and dung quiz, then you can add up your scores and see how well you do over the 2 weeks. Maybe you can only see one drive, maybe you see 3 drives, maybe you see all of them, but let's see how well you do, and we'll see about the scores at the end. So you've got 2 at this point. I'll just turn this off. So what you need to do is write into questions@juma.com if you want to play along and have your name read out. Whoever is the first 6 people will have their name read out. First 6 people with the right answer. And we have the 2 questions here. So what you need to do is put question, or in the subject title, you need to put your name and question 1 and question 2 and what those are. So if you want to just play with 1, want to play with 2, want to play with both, just make sure you put 1 or 2 in front of it so that we know which one you mean. Okay, so the first one, number 1. And I'm doing it like we would actually... Oh, that's also an interesting one. I've got 3 here now I really want to play with. Maybe we can do that. Let's see. But the first one, this one here, a little bit small. Sometimes you can get to the circle that I've drawn. Now what I've done is, when we do a tracking assessment, are you okay to get round? You alright? Oh, you can't get round. Yeah, you did. We're doing some tracks for viewers. They've got to guess the tracks. Yeah, I'm doing a tracking assessment. They've got to guess.
Probably didn't hear you.
Huh?
Probably didn't hear you.
No, I hope you didn't hear me. He was asking me which tracks, I told him. Okay. So when we go out on a tracking assessment, the assessor will come along, walk along the road, and he'll mark what track he wants you to see. And then you go up and say, okay, it's this, and you've got to whisper in his ear, and then he marks it down. And we do maybe about 30, 40 questions, something like that. So that's why we're doing it over a few drives. Try and give you an idea of where you are, maybe. So yes, track 1, here we go. So this one a little bit small, but I'm hoping you can see the detail on it. So this one is about 27 centimetres, but you can get this sort of size. So if it was this sort of size, you'd be looking about 45, 46 centimetres. So can you see the detail here? Round track here. And this is also the same animal here. Are we seeing the detail?
There?
Yeah, this one here. This is the other one as well. A little bit difficult to see direction, but the little toe tip is here and here, a little indent there. So this is track number 1. What animal you think that is? Let's say it can reach this sort of size. So this is a fairly young animal. You can see all the cracks in the foot here. And this particular animal, if you actually know, and this is actually very fresh because you've got all these cracks, so we're actually going to turn around and head that way to see if this animal has gone down towards the waterhole there. But if you actually know this particular animal very well, you can tell which individual it is by all the cracks in their feet. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is this one here. This is probably the best one I've seen so far. Hopefully you can see this. Can you see that nicely?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It's not bad at all.
Okay, so we've got the back pad here, and then you've got the toes here. There's another toe and there's another toe. And see how close it is to this back pad here. And look how the size difference. So we've got, oops, okay, I just destroyed the track. About 7 centimetres for one foot. Same animal, but this is the other foot. Again, you've got the pad here, And then you've got the toes. Look at the shape of the toes, that will help you. And then this one here, and then this one just here. And then this one is about 9 centimeters. So it's about 2 centimeters different in the size. That should help you as well identify that one. So that's it. So that's the same animal. And then, because we started a bit late, number three. This here. Who made that? Who made that? It's a little pit. You may have been with us on a couple of drives where we have actually seen these. So that is your third question. So you can play with all of them, you can play with one. You don't even have to send in your answers, you can just keep a note of them and I'll tell you what the right answer is and how many points you can add to your score. Okay, so let's get going. I want to see if we can catch up with track number 1.
Gonna go sun down.
Okay, so we're going to do track number 1 first.
Sun is down and then.
Okay, we're good. So we're going to do track number 1, so Mark's going to send me through the first 6 people coming through with answers to track number 1. So Cheryl is in first place, Anne is in second place with track number 1. Oh, Diane, sorry. Sorry, not Anne, Diane. Getting it wrong already. So Cheryl, Diane, coming back with the first right answers for number 1. Joanne, Bob, Luann, and Mary. So 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th position for track number 1. Well done. So the size didn't deter you. Ah, brilliant news. Well done everybody. So far nobody got it wrong. Well proud of you. Fantastic. So, question number 1. Okay, have we got anybody come through with question number 2? Not yet. No one's tried question number 2 or question number 3? Okay. Okay, well let's do a couple of questions and then I'll reveal the answer to question number 1. Just give a few people a bit more time. Suzanne and Susie and Phil and Raisa. Oh, we've got a few animals here. So, a number of people wanting to know about floppy ear, and was it the actual floppy ear or is it the younger one? Now, we have been wondering that ourselves, and Lynn in Canada, see if we can see these giraffes a little bit better. Giraffes going to come out hopefully. So we've got kudu in front of us, impala and giraffe. But a few of you asking about the hyena that we just saw. Is it floppy ear? And we have been wondering because the younger, or the hyena that looks slightly younger seem to have a different shape to the bent ear and a lot more fur. And Lynn in Canada did send through some pictures last night, and I've also been looking through my pictures. And what I noticed and what she noticed is that, and thanks Lynn for that, is that Floppy Ear had pink on her nose, and she also had, which is what I was remembering, was a couple of nicks out of her ear. They're watching something down the road there. So a couple of nicks in her left ear. But as Mark said, I mean, she did look closer at my picture. It looked like that hyena did have a few wrinkles like Floppy Ear had. And what we have found is that the pictures of Floppy Ear previously does have the pink nose and the pink on the ear and a couple of notches missing. And that's and when she turned around and looked at us, actually, with the sun catching her face, she did look a little bit older there. So yeah, but definitely that pink on the nose, I think, does prove that it is Floppy Ear. But I've got some pictures of this one that we saw now, and we can hopefully match up that pink and just make sure it is right. But as I say, I wasn't ready to... Oh, what's there? Kudu's barking. Is there something down the road there? Yep, no worries, just take your time with that. Graham, come in. They're barking at something. I want to see what it is that they're barking at. I thought I saw something on the road up ahead. Just move forward a bit. Sorry, Seb. Okay, so I think we're good for question number 1. So, answer line is now closed for question number 1. Can you see anything? Huh? Oh, is it? Because I saw something, but I couldn't see what it was. So it's the baboons they're barking at. Just move forward a bit. Sorry, Seb. Okay, so I think we're good for question number 1. So, answer line is now closed for question number 1. Can you see anything? Huh? Oh, is it? Because I saw something, but I couldn't see what it was. So it's the baboons they're barking at. Cool, thank you. Actually, this is quite a nice spot for the giraffe. So, well done to everybody. It sounds like everybody got that one right. Question number 1 was elephant. Well done, everybody. Oh.
Have a nice view of the kudu.
Yes. I thought we might actually get a nicer view through there, but there was a big log in the way. So let's go on the road. Cook, well done. Joanne, second place for question number 2. Can you see through there? Huh?
I can't see the kudu.
Oh, the giraffe.
I want the kudu.
Yeah, but I want the giraffe.
You want the giraffe?
I want the giraffe. Kudu are barking. Oh, I can see the baboons now.
Yeah, that's why I wanted.
Yeah. So the kudu are barking at the baboons. And the impala are snorting because the kudu are barking. So it just goes to show that sometimes they don't have it quite right if they're not sure. So the baboons aren't taking any notice of them. Oh, the giraffe is now. Giraffe's watching the baboons, that's what she's watching. Because Gordy is actually sitting just behind us. Right down the open now. So if I actually move back a little bit and pull back, you might be able to see the baboons as well now. There you go. So he's there, and they're there. Because the baboons usually are very good at picking up on predators, and they will bark and they will let everybody know in the area. So if they also not picking up what they're saying, I think they must realise that it's them that's that's been spotted by the kudu. So the Gowrie gang. So answers for question number 2. So the first answer was elephant. Second answer, Susan Cook. No. Oh, okay, no problem. So Mark's going to get the 6 and then he's going to let me know. So Susie Cook in first position. Joanne in second position. Diane in third position. Alan, well done Alan. King Alan, fourth position. Bets, well done Bets. In fifth position. And Bob coming in the sixth position. Well done. Not the easiest of tracks, but when you know the tricks, it jumps out of you and jumps out at you very easily. So well done. Track number 2 is hyena, with those toes getting very close to the back pad, the 2 lobes in the back pad, and that huge size difference, that 2 centimetre size difference between the front pad and the back pad being the smaller one. Just remember how the hyena looks very heavy front, very small back, and actually that large chest area allows for the large heart and large lungs, which gives the hyena stamina, as well as obviously the power that they drag the food away, and those huge muscles that they have in their head for crunching the bones that they eat. And there's a little Genesis at the top, little Evelyn at the bottom of the screen, or she was. And one of the mums, possibly Shirley, who is Genesis' mum. Oh, there she is, there's little Evelyn now. Everyone enjoying a relaxing Sunday morning. Bob. What was that? Something with a peg leg for number 3. A pirate with a peg leg. I thought you were going to say a hyena with a peg leg. Could well have been. Ross was saying a leopard in a pirate costume. Close, very close. Maybe that's what it is, and I've got it wrong. Ah, well done, Alan. First one coming back for number 3. Valerie in 2nd position. Roger, well done, Roger. 3rd position. Maybe not as hot as I thought. Randy, 4th position. Lynn, hi Lynn, glad to hear you're on board. Thanks again for sending in the information about floppy ear. And Cheryl coming back in 6th position for track number 3. Well done, guys. Spider, beetle, ants, and mongoose. Possibly the mongoose digging. Maybe that's why you're thinking mongoose for number 3. Ants, not as wide as that. Ants, it'll just be a little hole, and usually little bits of soil almost making a ring around the hole. Spider, again, not really that wide, and going into, it was actually a funnel. So with the spiders it tends to be all one size because the spider's going to be sitting in there. And beetles, dung beetles, again, not really a conical shape like that, a funnel. Again, it would just be a hole the same width all the way down. So what was track number 3, or who dung it? It was actually an ant lion who dung it, or didn't dung it, but made it. An ant lion. So the way it works, I'll just let the Gary gang cross the road. Shirley with Genesis. The rest of the gang have crossed over again. I'm going to try and manoeuvre so we actually have a... Oh, giraffes have gone. Oh, and Gordy getting left behind now. Gordy's kind of taken over because Tankman's no longer with us, unfortunately. So Gordy's the only big male, so he's taken up pole position, and he basically watches out for everybody, and Tankman would go and sit right at the top of the tree and be a sentinel, and that's kind of his role now. Although I'm a little bit worried that he's not really that big. Hi Jojo! Good morning to you. Jojo wanting to know if there's a chance that other baboons might join the Gary gang and keep the gang going. Shame. Kudu is still not too sure. Look at this. Brilliant. Now I would understand if it was the impala. It's still a bit wary, but the impala couldn't care less now. But the kudu still watching them, as if they've never seen a baboon before. But Jojo wanting to know, will more baboon join them? And there is a possibility, Jojo. Baboon troops can have new members, especially males. So there is a possibility. But whether it'll happen or not, I don't know. The reason why I say the impala, I would expect them, if any of them, to be watching the baboon, is that baboons can sometimes kill, and sometimes will kill, young impala. But a young kudu is going to be a little bit too big even for a baboon. Even though the impala here are all rams, and a baboon male wouldn't really go and tackle, I wouldn't have thought, would go and tackle a male impala. But we haven't seen the Gary gang actually feeding on impala. So it's one of those that it can happen in certain places, but it might not happen in others, and I think the troop haven't resorted to that. The big males haven't resorted to that, because it tends to be the big males, the huge canines. And as I say, it's usually the young impala, the newborns especially. They have been known to kill cheetah cubs, leopards. There's a very famous sighting of 2 male baboons killing a leopard. So they are a force to be reckoned with. young male kudu in the left-hand side of your screen there. Probably around 2.5 years old, judging by the horns. Maybe 2, maybe just about 2 actually. They've realised they actually don't need to worry about the baboons walking towards them. Lost the giraffe though. Yeah, giraffe crossed the road, I can see them now. Going into very thick bush. Well, Graham's just come from there and he didn't mention anything about elephant, so maybe they crossed over and went into that thick part of the bush there. Or do we try twin downs? Best light for the giraffe, but hi Bets. Wanting to know, when the cubs came down the tree, why did the hyenas not go for them? Probably because they knew they didn't have any meat left, because the hyenas, the little Shavinzi actually dropped about 3 pieces in total. One went, then another piece went, then another piece. And I think they probably realised, that it wasn't really worth it because they didn't have any food. And that's one thing that we've really noticed with the hyenas. They'll only really become aggressive if there is food around. We've actually seen Mishu come nose to nose almost with hyena on a couple of occasions when he didn't have any food. The hyena kind of went, oh, well, okay, and carried on its way. So yeah, as I say, I think because they realised the food had all gone, they didn't have anything in their mouths. If one of the cubs had come down, for instance, with a piece of meat in the mouth, I think it would have been a very different story. Not that they would really do that anyway, but as I say, I think that would be a very different story, because there would be some reason. And again, I think, depending on the area, depends on the interactions. If you've ever seen Eternal Enemies with hyena and lion, they hate each other. I think, was it up in the Serengeti that was filmed? I forget now. There was a place that was filmed, and it was Botswana. So there was a lot of interaction there between the lions and the hyenas, and they didn't need to have food to actually almost retaliate, because there was a hyena killed, and one of the lions got killed by the hyenas, and I think the hyenas then killed a hyena. But we haven't really seen that interaction. We haven't seen interaction between the hyena and the lion here. It'd be interesting to see what they make of them, especially when there's no food around. But again, oh no, we saw it once with the sticks, and the hyenas were giving them a wide berth, but the lions did have a kill, but it was very young hyena that were with them, and the Styx female just growled and then they ran off, and that was it. Oh well, let's carry on then. Let's try Chelapan then, maybe. Oh, that's what I was going to explain. So, antlion, the pit. So if you're looking at, if you took the pin, instead of looking straight above it, if you're able to chop away the ground, and you can actually look at the pit, so from this angle, and it makes this V shape. So this would be the pit if you're looking at it from the side. Then the larva, let me switch off actually. Then the larva, the antlion larva, and he's got 2 jaws, he sits like this, and then a round body. So if this is the antlion, this is his jaws, this is his body. Sitting at the base of his pit, and he sits with his jaws like this. And as an ant walks, and they usually make their nest, or make this funnel close to ants' nests, so there's a higher possibility of an ant walking through it. And as the ant walks along, it falls into the pit. Now it might start to be able to climb up, but the antlion will actually start kicking sand to try and help the ant fall closer and closer towards the bottom. And once it feels the vibrations close to the bottom, then it will just grab the ant with its jaws. So if the ant falls, grabs the ant with its jaws and pulls it under and starts feeding on it. So that's how the pit works. So antlion pit. And then when the antlions go through their larval stage, they've eaten enough ants, they'll then pupate, and this beautiful adult will emerge, almost like a dragonfly. It has the look of a dragonfly about it, or a lacewing. Beautiful looking animal, almost like a fairy. This beautiful, almost cellophane wings. You can think of that cellophane when you move it around in the light. They're really beautiful. Hopefully during the summer we'll be able to show you a couple of the adults that can get to about this long. It's possible that's where the idea of fairies might have come from, with their wings. So that is an antlion pit. Laurie, interesting question there. And welcome to you over there in California. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. But, yes, quite an interesting observation there, Laurie. I'm wondering why, when we see an impala in a tree, why is it female? It's usually female. Do males actually fight the leopard more? Or have you got it wrong? And I think we have been seeing a lot more female, and it could have something to do with the fact that the females don't have horns, so they can put up a fight, they can kick, but I think the fact that the males have horns and are slightly heavier than females may deter some leopards. But I mean, we have seen Karula with a male impala. We saw her bringing an impala down, but she actually stashed it under the tree, and it could be it was just a bit too heavy for her to carry up at that stage. It was only on day 3 did she actually put it up in the tree. Yeah. And Mark's just reminding me about the time of the year as well. So when we go into January, December time, there's going to be a lot of babies, and you're going to be more likely to see the babies because their babies are going to be easier to catch, smaller, a lot more manageable, trying to get it up into the tree. I mean, we've seen Karula with two babies, one on top of the other in a tree. So I think it's just we've just happened to be seeing females, and it may be the times when Karula has been hunting males. We've just not seen her. But it could be that she does go for females more, as I say, because of that. Yeah, and Mark's also making the point. What's wrong, ladies? I'm not sure. Mark's also making the point with the rut as well. So when it is breeding season, males are taken more than females because they're not going to be paying attention as much, because they're going to be more focused on chasing males out of the territory and trying to keep the females in the territory, and they're going to lose condition very quickly as well, so they're not going to be as strong as what they are at the moment. But as I say, Karula has brought down males, so it's not not impossible for her. It could be that she just finds the females easier at this time of year. As I say, it could be that she has a preference. Maybe they taste slightly differently. Could be all of these possibilities. Or it could just be that we just happen to see her with the females and not the males. But certainly they will go through these seasonal changes and they'll adapt to what is the easier to kill. So if the males are rutting, they are going to adapt to that. If the females are giving birth, they're going to adapt to that. Anything for an easy meal. And that's the whole key to survival, trying to minimize the amount of energy that's wasted. You try and minimize that as much as possible, and that's why if an animal spots the prey, they give an alarm call to say, hey, we've seen you. That actually saves on their energy as well, because if they say to the predator, hey, look, we've seen you, it means they don't, the leopard has been seen, so everyone can know about it. So the leopard then kind of gives what you can see, they physically stop hunting. They're like, oh, well, I'm seen now. So the leopard doesn't give chase, so that means that they don't need to run, so they don't need to waste their energy either. They're a little bit bothered about whatever's here in this bush, and it could be the wind. The wind's blowing quite strongly here. It could be that's what's deterring them. They can't really hear too well. They do get a little bit skittish when there's a lot of wind blowing, because they can't get a good direction from where scent's coming from, where sounds are coming from. Let's go onto Vulture's Nest Road and just see if there's anything on that side. Alright, Carolyn. Good morning to you. Wanting to know what the diet of the Daker is. The Daker is a browser, more so than a grazer. I think possibly at certain times of the year, like now when there's not as much food available, they might just eat a little bit of grass. I'll have to check on that, because some of the browsers do. I mean, when they're predominantly one, they may just take the other in harsh times. But that's why you tend to find the Dakers more in the closed habitat, the thicker bush, rather than the Steenbok. The Steenbok would be in possibly something like this. Both would be in something like this, but the Steenbok more in the grassland, the Daker more in the bushy area, just like the kudu or the nyala, the other browsers. But specific plants I have to actually look at. But one thing they do have in their diet, which is quite unusual, is caterpillars. Quite a high percentage of caterpillars are found in their diet. Very unusual. And fungus as well. They are a fungus eater, if I remember rightly. So not just plants. As well. Sorry. I'll leave that for this afternoon. And if anybody does fancy having a go at designing something for the shop, who done it, then please go ahead. I'll see if I can actually do something. But if anybody fancies coming up with something to sell, or a logo to sell on things, then send it through to tara@juma.com. See if anyone comes up with a good idea. But you're not allowed to use my face. I have this thing about having my face on things. How the chick's doing. It's a bit windy up there, a little bit chilly. Just saw a parent with his head up. But
I just took a while, my daughter, in the morning, but it was in that Manyele to the west of...
And if anybody does have any nice pictures of Karula and the cubs on the kill today or yesterday, or the hyenas, if you also would like to send through pictures so I can use them for a blog, so we can let everybody else know what's going on with them. Anybody that missed it or would like to just see the pictures. And the blogs are going to be released on the Juma webpage, so www.juma.com. And that's where the blogs are going to be released from now on. So that the guests can also keep a track. And hopefully, if there's any guests that enjoy reading about her or hearing about what we do, then hopefully they'll join us as well. And remember, if you want to help try and keep the drives going, then definitely watch the Waterhole channel in between drives as well, because the revenue from both cameras goes towards keeping the cost of running the live safaris going. And you get to see what Juma has to offer on a daily basis, and actually, as we were saying, nature is so unpredictable, you don't know what you're going to see every day. And a lot of the time it's being at the right place at the right time. And a lot of the questions that you ask, and maybe sit in front of a documentary and think to yourself, well, why is this or why is that? Sometimes we actually get to see them being answered live. We're actually learning all the time, and that's what the best thing about nature is the fact that you can never know everything, and what is true for one place on a documentary could be completely different in another area. Like the baboons I was just talking about, some baboons in some areas actually being seen killing baby impala, but we haven't seen it really here. Hyenas having, this huge fight with lions almost on a daily basis, I suppose, but this eternal enemy conflict going on. But what you see here is that, we don't edit anything out. That's the first part, so we don't actually make up the story. You can actually see the story unfolding right before your eyes, like this chick that we have, this vulture and the chick, and hopefully we're going to be visiting it on a regular basis, and we can actually see the progress, and we might actually start to see the chick popping its head out and maybe actually sitting on the nest and testing its wings and being fed by the parents. And we actually get to see, even now we're seeing a different behaviour. So, okay, the sun's out but the wind is here, so we're actually seeing the female or possibly the male sitting on the nest and shielding the chick from the wind. So even just that is a subtle difference than when it's a still day. But I think it is going to be quite windy up there. So let's continue on and see what other magic we might be able to find here in the African bush in South Africa. And if we do have any new viewers, the way it all works here is we traverse about 1,000 hectares, but if you come to the lodge, the Voyatella's just down the road from us, and that's where the waterhole camera is as well. The lodge actually overlooks the waterhole camera, or the waterhole itself. They're able to actually drive much further afield, and that's why we get information from Buffelshoek. They go into Buffelshoek quite a lot, as well as other spots. But our broadcasting range is about 800 hectares. We can traverse about 1,000. You'll see on some days we get a good signal in some of those bad signal areas, and some days it's just not really worth us going there because it's just too bad. So we have about 1,000, and on that 1,000 we have the animals that can come in from Kruger, the Sabi Sands. We are in the Sabi Sands, and the Sabi Sands is a privately owned game reserve. Each portion of the Sabi Sands is owned by different people. That makes about 65,000 hectares. There were old farm holdings at one stage, and the decision was made to drop the fences. So the 65,000 hectare Sabi Sands also borders on Kruger, and together they make the Greater Kruger National Park. So the Greater Kruger National Park is about 2.7 million hectares. And it is possible for animals to be seen here and in Kruger. Kruger, probably as a crow flies, is about 6 k's from us. It's not too far, the boundary. The wild dogs, the pack of 21, get seen up by Orpen. That's the closest gate to us. Oh, look, little female bushbuck in there. You see her? Just on the size, I can see there's 1 or 2 stripes there. It is possible for bushbuck to have stripes. Just on the size, I can say it is a bushbuck. There she goes. And the fact that she's on her own. But generally you'd find bushbuck having spots rather than stripes. Nyara, on the other hand, would be in a herd. And the stripes much bolder on the body, especially if that was a youngster. very bold white stripes. They were quite faint, those ones. Over in Hungary, Budapest. Welcome on board to you this morning. I'm wanting to know, is it true that animals can get drunk off marula fruits? And apparently there was a drunken moose in a tree on CNN the other day. And I actually have to read that article. I haven't actually seen the full ins and outs, and I think, by the sounds of it, I wonder if someone actually gave it alcohol, maybe injected alcohol into something. And I think that's actually how the film was made that you're talking about. They actually injected alcohol into the fruits. Nice and ethical, hey? But that's how they got the shots that they did, apparently. But it's not really true that the animals will get drunk off of marula fruits, especially elephants. Elephants would have to eat a lot of fermented fruits, and they tend to eat them before they start fermenting. Although I have heard of smaller animals and birds, blackbirds over in the UK apparently can get drunk off of apples. So it is possible for some species, but you don't really see it. I don't think the fruits are even that big enough really for it to happen over here in Africa. Another female kudu. Much larger than the bushbuck that we just saw. Bushbuck would actually be able to fit underneath the kudu, that one that we saw. But bushbuck can be about the same size as an impala. And those big, beautiful pink ears of the kudu. Tan body and grey head. Yeah, someone's starting to call now that side. The impala. Kudu's watching something. See, everyone's a little bit more skittish because of the wind. Oh, they've decided no, actually, whatever they've seen, it's not worth worrying about. Kudu's watching the impala. Trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah, morning, about 5.
Oh yes, and Mark's just reminding me as well. Tomorrow morning we're doing something slightly different. So we're not going out at 6 o'clock tomorrow. We're going to be going out at 9:30. And the reason for this is we've been asked to do a special broadcast, and it might actually help increase some viewers onto the drive. So we've been asked to do a special broadcast tomorrow morning. So because of the problem that we've been having with the batteries recently, we think we might have solved it, or Mark might have solved it, but just in case, we don't want to run short, because it's got to be around 10:30 that we need to be on air for. So to make sure that we are going to have a broadcast and be able to do that, we're going to be going out at 9:30 to be on the safe side. We're not going to be able to go out for the 3 hours after that, because obviously we do need to get the batteries back on charge. So tomorrow morning, it's just the one morning, we're going to be starting at 9:30 Central Africa time instead of 6. So just to be aware of that. But the following day, it will be back to 6 o'clock on Tuesday, and from then on. But just so that you're aware of that, and that's the reason why. So hopefully, if this works, hopefully we'll get a few more viewers from it. Keep your fingers crossed. But if you have enjoyed even a short drive this morning, then please let your neighbours know, let your friends know, let your family know, and ask them to log on, see for themselves what it's all about. And if we have days where there's not leopards or elephants or big animals running around, then it's the days that we use to see some of the smaller things, the birds, the plants. The insects are going to be coming out, so Mark's going to be in full glory, I think, with the insects there. So certainly ones to watch out for. I think Seb still has to do some survival with you. Hi Madeline, good morning to you. Just picking up on what I was saying about Dacre eating caterpillars. There's some zebra in here, but they're too far back. Just hoping we're going to have a view of them, maybe not. We're wanting to know, do you think that they're just eating them because they're part of the leaf, or whether they actually go and seek them out? And I think the research was swaying more towards the fact that they were seeking them out purely because there were so many in the diet. So many actually found in the Dacres. So I think they possibly actively go and seek them out, which is a strange one. I forget what percentage it was now that they found it. And where the Dacre was as well. I'll see if I can find some more information. I just remember that it was actually quite an interesting one that always stuck in my head. Hi Baz, over there in the Netherlands. Good morning to you. And quite an old mixture here this morning, from Europe as well as in the States. Good to hear from everybody. I'm wanting to know, is it true that lion and leopard will only hunt waterbuck if they really have to because of the bad smell? And I believe I think it's a bush myth, to be honest, Baz, because I've seen lion eating waterbuck. I've seen lion eating 2 or 3 day old carcass of a waterbuck. And they were pretty good hunters. They were very efficient, too efficient actually. So if they really didn't need to hunt waterbuck, those lions wouldn't, if they really didn't want to. So I think definitely a bush myth. I think leopards, adult waterbuck are going to be a little bit too big, although there is a possibility, never say never. We actually heard of cheetah, the four brothers, sorry, have actually pulled down waterbuck on a couple of occasions now. They've been working together coalition of 4 males. So they've hunted waterbuck on a couple of occasions. So I think rather a bush myth to that one. Unfortunately, I think it's coming to the end of drive. We'd love to stay out longer, but we do need to get the batteries on charge for the afternoon game drive. Because even though we weren't using the inverter, we were still out and just waiting for us to go live. So I'm going to be saying goodbye to you. Just want to get to the edge of Gowrie Dam. Wow, that wind's really picking up now. I see some zebra. There a hippo? I don't see a hippo. But maybe keep a lookout for one on the waterhole camera. And keep a lookout for any movement, maybe from the cats or the elephants. The wind is picking up a little bit. The Karula, as the crow flies, would be that direction, and this would be the closest dam, so definitely keep a lookout for them. Especially after they've eaten, they may go and actually drink. It's the normal way of things, but maybe she'll pick a different waterhole, who knows. But definitely keep a watch out. But my name's Tara, thank you very much for joining us. Well done on the dung questions, well, track questions today. And there'll be more this afternoon, so do join us 3:30 Central Africa time. And Sebastian will be joining me on camera again, and Mark will be back in final control, ready and eager to send those questions through. So take care everybody, and we'll see you again here on Juma. Take care, bye for now.